In this video, we're going to learn jQuery Mobile events. So in jQuery Mobile, we can use many types of events to respond to users' actions, like tapping the screen or tapping an element and holding it for a second, scrolling, and so on. So let's go to our homepage and create an example. So we're going to create a div and write some code so that if we tap on the div, the font size gets bigger. And if we tap again, the font size goes back to its original value. And if we tap and hold, then the div is going to disappear. Okay, so let's create a new file and call it events.html. And let's copy the code from the previous file. And change the title to events. Now let's go to the first page. Let's go to the content. Okay. And let's create our div in there. So let's give it an ID. Tap here. Okay, and let's place a paragraph inside the div and write some text there. Okay, well, it disappeared, so I'm just gonna write it again. So if you tap here, I will get bigger. If you tap again, I will get back to my original size. If you tap and hold, I will disappear. Okay, now let's go to the end of the body elements and write some jQuery code there. So I'm going to create a scripts element. Okay. And we're going to write our code inside the document ready function. Okay. So first of all, let's access the div using its ID. Okay. And to start, we're going to use the tap event. So when we tap on the div, we want to change the font size of the div. Okay. So the method we're going to be using here is the on method, which will take two parameters: the event, in our case tap, and the function to execute after the event. Okay. So in our case, we want to change the font size when we tap and go back to the original font size when we tap again. So what we're going to do, we're going to create a class, and let's call this class big. Okay, so let's go to the head elements, create a style elements there, and create a class big with a big font size. So for example, a font size of 20 pixels. And what we're going to do, we are going to access the elements that we tapped. So we're going to use the keyword this, and we're going to use the toggle class method that we apply to our class big. Okay, so now if we save and refresh, if we click on our element, it gets bigger, and if we click again, it gets smaller. Okay. Now, if we tap and hold, so that's going to be a difference. So the event is tap hold, Okay. And what we want to do here is hide the element. Okay, so let's save and refresh. So now if we tap, it gets bigger, tap again, gets smaller. If we tap and hold, it disappears. Okay. All right, so you can use other events like the swipe event or swipe right or swipe left. Okay. There are other events we can use like the scroll start event that we apply to the document, for example. Okay, so let's have that inside the documents ready function. On scroll start, okay, or scroll stop, and then the function. Okay. Also, you can use the orientation change event, okay, that we can apply with the window. Like this, okay. And for example, you can check in the function if the orientation is landscape or portrait, okay. So to check if it's one of these, we need to use the event object and then the orientation property. Okay, so for portraits, it's going to be 0. Okay, and let's say we want to alert a message, portraits. Okay, otherwise we alert landscape. All right, so that was a good overview of jQuery Mobile, where we went through the different features of jQuery Mobile. So in the next session, we are going to build a real mobile app and learn how to upload it to the Google Play and App Store.